Hey there, this is Pat, and today we're going to check out some really cool cars from Southern California. Today here we've got Juan Perez, and he's in Southern California. What city are you in there, Juan?
I live in Port Hueneme. It's approximately about 35 miles south of Malibu.
Okay.
About an hour away from LA.
Okay. How close are you to the water there?
Oh, I'm a block away from the beach.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm obviously I'm envious of you. I'm up here in Michigan, and we don't, we got water, but not that kind of water at all.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, it's a little colder up here. It was snowing here yesterday, so I'm definitely envious of you there. Hey, so let's take a look at the car. Let's go ahead and take a look at the car behind you there.
Sure.
Yeah, I got several questions to ask you here. So first of all, when did you get your Prowler?
I purchased it approximately 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Okay. And what made you decide to get one?
You know what? The first time I seen one was back in '97, and there was a guy in Ventura. He owned a furniture store, and he had a purple one, and he purchased it. And to tell you the truth, the car looked 10 times better in person than it did in the pictures and whatnot that I've seen in the magazines.
Yeah.
And when I got up close to it, I didn't know that the transmission was in the back. I had no idea it had a transaxle, which to me even made it look more bizarre, but also more appealing.
Yeah.
And I always wanted one. It wasn't practical. I ended up buying a Jaguar S-Type R. It was okay, but you know what? Poor resale. Little things started breaking down. I'll be honest with you. I've had 10 times more fun with this car than I did with the Jag. The Jag was more practical. Obviously, I could cruise a family around in it. But my kid already graduated from San Francisco State, and she's doing her thing. And it's just me and the girlfriend. That's it. So
okay,
it was time for me to get this car.
Well, you're definitely in the perfect state there for it. You sent me some of those other photos. How many famous people have you met there at the shows?
Oh, well, the thing is that I belong to Malibu Cars and Coffee.
Okay.
And over there, a lot of celebrities go in there. And it's actually a very small club. I mean, if you look it up online, it's very small. It's not a big parking area. But the cars that go in there are just phenomenal. You got Bugattis, Ferraris, Lambos. The first time I went, my car was stock. And I felt like I went to a prom without a tux because the car had no modifications whatsoever. Okay. And to tell you the truth, I didn't want to modify it. I wanted to keep it the same. But then, I said, you know what? I gotta dress this thing up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So that was gonna be my next question. If any of these mods were yours, but they're all yours then, right? So you got it completely stock.
Pretty much.
Okay. How many miles were on it when you got it?
Wow. It was 15 years old at the time. So it only had like 10,000 miles. Now I got 30,000.
Okay, so you're driving it well. That's good.
Oh, well, yeah, I could drive this car all year round because of the weather.
Yeah, you're lucky there. Yeah, sadly, mine's put away for half the year. So.
And then we always have car shows here too.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. And unfortunately, lately we can't go to many shows. I mean, you probably haven't been to any lately, but you did send me some really cool pictures of the shows you've been there. So speaking of that, the one show you told me about, the one it won second place. Can you tell that story again? That one you told me? That was a good story.
That was the Santa Barbara State Street Nationals. And, I didn't think, car shows are everywhere. You have local car shows, but then the real big ones are the national car shows. Those are the ones that you really want to win. Yeah. Unfortunately, people put a lot of money into their cars, and typically they don't drive them. They trailer them in there.
Yeah.
So when I went to the State Street Nationals, I didn't think I was going to get a trophy. But my category was from 2000, at that time was 2019. And when they saw the motorcycle and the Prowler together, the first thing they asked me was, where'd you get the bike from? Well, what year is it? I said, what's a 1912? And then I told them that I made it myself. And then they looked at the modifications to the car, and I noticed that the judges were really looking at it. And then when it came down to the awards, I got second place in my category. And then the judge whispered in my ear, he said, congratulations, you have the least expensive car that won a trophy here. Because the guy that took first had a Lamborghini. And I believe a Lamborghini Murcielago. Third place was a Ferrari 340. 340.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
that's amazing. Amazing. Okay. Hey, so why don't we go ahead and start looking at some of the stuff you've done to the car there. I was looking at some of the details you've got there. So you were showing me, I was looking at the front there. You painted the bumpers red. Where did you get that done? Was that just a local paint shop?
Actually, at that time, the Prowler store did have these bumpers. What you do is you send them your old ones, and then they would return them back to you painted.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they still do that now.
Okay.
But at the time, they did that.
Okay. Can you turn the camera on? Let's take a look at them.
Sure.
Let's take a look at the bumpers a little bit there.
And you know what? They are a perfect match. I mean, if you didn't know the Prowler, you just assume that's the way the car came. Right.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing is the people that put relatively subtle mods on their car, a lot of people can't tell that those are mods. And that is one there that I would bet the average person would not know that they used to be black.
No.
So what year is this one again? Is it a 99 or a 2000?
Oh, it's a 2000.
Yeah, 2000. Okay, because they made red like that in both years, so I couldn't recall.
Sure.
So, yeah, because you mentioned that the Prowler store. Now, some people have had some issues with them, with some other things there. Have you had good luck with them? I mean, was there other stuff you bought from them?
I haven't bought too many things from them. For example, I've noticed that they do take, for example, it's taken me a couple months to get parts in. They do lag, but I try not to buy too much from them. I try to do most of the work myself. Okay. That's just the way I am. It's almost like with the interior.
Yeah, I did see
pictures.
Yeah, I wanted to see that next. Some of the photos you had of the interior is really, really nice. So that's what I was questioning, whether or not those were all yours or not on the seats there.
Well, they did make a kit for this interior package.
Okay.
And what ended up happening was I did see an advertisement, and I also seen pictures of red Prowlers with this interior.
Okay.
And I do know an upholstery guy. He's a good friend of mine. His name is Mondo. And I showed him the pictures, and I said, "Can you do something like this?" Okay. He said, "Yeah," and he did it for half the cost.
Okay.
And I said, "But it's really important that you keep the foam. There's something about this foam here that it dissipates heat." That's what it said in the brochure.
Really?
So I said, "We got to keep the foam."
Okay.
And then he said, "Okay, no problem. Yeah, I could duplicate it." And he did it for about half the price. Okay. And it's real leather. I mean, it's not really sharp. You can look at it.
Turn the camera on there so we can take a look at that. Oh, okay. And also the mats. The flaming mats there, those are cool. But yeah, oh yeah, those seats are nice. That's good. So is that they did the stitching on all that on the cat?
Oh yeah, he did everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
And then this piece I went ahead and purchased from the Prowler store.
All right, go back down a little bit so I can see the doors again a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, so who did that?
Oh, Mondo did that also. He did the stitching, the leather work, he did everything.
Because like the ones I have on mine is a fiberglass piece, but that's actually—
Oh, no, this is actually a leather insert.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, that's really sharp. Okay. So I noticed on the outside there was some Mopar signs that you had on the car. Or
that's, I know a vinyl guy that can do anything with vinyl. Like he can make decals, stickers. And, I figured since it was a Chrysler product, and I remember when Plymouth used to make the Cudas and whatnot, they used to refer to them as Mopar cars because it was a Chrysler.
Well, yeah, Mopar.
And I said, you know what?
Yep.
Exactly. So, my imagination was going crazy, especially with the company I kept in Malibu. I said, I got to dress this thing up. Yep. So I went ahead and had the vinyl guy make me some Mopar decals.
Okay.
And but these are a little different because these are actually chrome decals. Here, I'll go ahead and put them on.
Go ahead and, let's take a look at those. Oh, wow. Okay, that's sharp. And I can see myself in the recording.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're different.
It actually reflects. Okay, that's really cool. Okay. What else I was going to ask you about? So, looks like your shift lever was red too, right? Did he put a new?
It sure was.
Did he make that leather?
I replaced that too.
Okay.
Yep, it's leather, and that I just purchased on eBay.
Oh, okay.
And it did. It fit. It worked, and it's pretty nice. I really like the way it looks.
Okay. Now, mechanically, you were telling me some stuff about the transmission gears. I think there were some updates either you did or somebody else did.
No, a buddy of mine did.
Buddy of yours
And
did,
what
okay.
Tony did was he installed, well, on the rear differential on this thing, or should I say the transaxle, it has almost like, I would have to say it's almost like a belt drive. And the belt and the wheels are a little bit smaller. It changes the gear ratios on the transaxle.
Okay.
So basically you have a lower gear. And, you know, I just, for the hell of it, he did it. And he took me for a ride. And I noticed that the car really accelerated pretty well. And then I said, well, you know what? Let's run them both. And I did some minor work to my car. I mean, four-way exhaust, K&N air filter, cold air intake, and a tune. But that was about it. And he smoked me.
Yeah.
And well, that's going to be my next project.
Okay.
The only thing I'm a little concerned about is the longevity. You know, I'm more concerned about, is this car going to be running another 50,000 miles, or is it going to be something that's going to affect the transmission as far as longevity and whatnot?
Okay. Now, where did he get the parts from? Is that something that, I mean, maybe I can share that info if it's something. You know,
okay. Those parts he actually got from the Prowler store.
Oh, he did buy them from the Prowler store. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there might be other people out there that have the same thing then. So he did the installation himself though, right?
No. We have a transaxle guy here in Oxnard.
Okay.
And he works on, he does a lot of work on Porsches, Ferraris, exotics. And because of this pandemic, right now he's lowering his prices. So I think he only charged $500.
Okay.
And we could have done it ourselves, those instructions.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when it comes down to the transmission and whatnot, sometimes you're better off just having a professional do it. And then they could also do the whole transmission service too. Change the fluids, the screens, what have you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So if we talked before about that, maybe we can get a chance to see his car.
Yeah.
At some point, that would be great. So let him know.
Sure.
You know, we could do more cars on the same, you know, episode here. Would be cool.
Exactly.
Okay. On the back, looks like you've got one of those weekender trunks there.
Oh, I sure do. Oh, that's a necessity.
How do you like that?
That's definitely a necessity. Oh, I love it. You know what? If it wasn't for that, car shows would be very difficult.
Yeah.
Because whenever you go to a car show, you got to bring detailing kits, maybe a bite to eat, chair as an umbrella and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that weekender makes it possible.
Okay.
Another thing too is you really can't go on trips unless you have a weekender or a trailer. I mean, there's no room in this car whatsoever.
Yeah. Can you show it there and how you open it up? Is it possible?
Sure.
To put the back on the back? I don't know if it's.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
So on the weekender, there's a lever right here. All you do is turn it to the side.
Okay.
Once you move the lever, then you tip it forward.
Okay.
And there you go.
Okay. So that's how you can get into the trunk. But how much room is in the weekender itself, though?
Oh, geez. Actually, you got quite a bit. I mean, obviously, you can't put a suitcase in there, but
No, obviously not.
right there. Can you see that?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad.
Mm-hmm. I even got these. When I do Mulholland runs, my shoes. Not that I need them, but it seems like everybody else is wearing them when they do that.
Okay. You were mentioning so about the shows again you've been going to. So how many of those do they usually? I mean, how often do you get to go to those shows? I mean, how often?
Oh God, I would say twice a month. I go to a car show.
Twice a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I also belong to Ventura County Rods.
Okay.
Malibu Cars and Coffee.
Okay. Now I was going to ask you about that because some of the pictures you had VC rides on it. I think it said.
Exactly.
Is that what that was for? That's
exactly.
Okay. All right. I was going to ask you about that because I got some questions here and I was going to ask you. And there was one of them on your picture that said Mopar 805. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's something I did.
That's you? What does 805 mean?
That's just our area code, Ventura County.
That's just your area code. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, you fooled me. I know. I figured it meant something more than that, but
no, it's just an area code.
So, is there anything under the hood that you want to show me that you've done, or is it all pretty much stock?
It's all pretty much stock. Here you go.
Okay. Oh yeah, more Mopar stickers. Okay. Hey, so
but you really can't see it. But here's the cold air intake, and then the K&N's right below it.
Oh, okay. So that's right, because that's where the air filter is right down below there. Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, so they one of those. You have one of those bigger red K&N air filters
Yeah.
on there. Okay, I'm kind of thinking about doing that on mine. I had mine replaced with the same one, basically the same kind that was in there before. Because when I had mine done, it had been never replaced at all. So I had just put the same one in. But I've seen more people do that. Do you think that's helped? Did that improve the performance at all?
Yes and no. It really depends, because you really have to put that thermal cover. If you don't put that thermal cover on the side of the engine, what's going to end up happening is that K&N is going to end up sucking in hot air, and it defeats the purpose of having it.
Okay.
So you just don't stick in a K&N air filter. You really have to have it almost like you have to box it in, and then you have to put it's almost like a thermal cover. That way the heat from the engine doesn't radiate into the air filter itself.
Okay.
And so it does help, but you got to do it right.
Okay.
It's just like the braking. I wasn't too happy with the braking of the stock Prowler. Well, the stock brakes, I should say. So I went ahead and I put some Wilwoods, and that helped a lot. Here, you can probably see them right here.
Okay. Just on the front?
Just on the front.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
But it did help.
Yeah, go back down there a moment. I want to get a closer look at that just for a moment. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's different caliper and everything on there.
Oh,
so
yeah.
so a different okay, so the disc is different too then, right?
The disc and the calipers.
Okay.
Another thing that I did was I changed the front tires because the originals were really hard and bumpy.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, the ride, it didn't bother me too much. I took the car to Vegas, and I was in pain after 3 hours. I was dying.
Okay, so when you bought the car, it still had the original tires on it?
It still had the original tires on it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, but are you saying you still have the originals on the back?
No, it's Pirelli P0s all the way around.
Okay, and all four, because you mentioned front, so I thought you meant the only two.
Exactly.
Yeah,
this is what I did as far as the suspension is concerned, and it's really worked out pretty well. Is the front tires aren't run flats. They're Pirelli P0s, and they're 245s by 40 series. The tires in the back are run flats, even though they have the same tread pattern and they look the same.
Okay.
There is a difference. The only difference is the ones in the back are run flats.
Really?
And,
okay.
And those are 315 by 35 series.
Oh, okay. So the standard one was 295.
Exactly.
You got 315s. Okay.
Yep. And they fit in there perfect. No problem.
Really? They fit okay. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Great. On the original rim and everything.
Really? Okay. Can you go down and take a look? Put the camera down by that wheel. I want to take a quick look there. So, okay. So it's still the stock wheel. They were able to, so you're saying they were able to put the 315 width on the stock wheel?
Yep. You sure can.
Wow. Okay. I didn't think that would work. Okay.
Yeah, you can see the size right there.
Okay.
Another thing that I did, they call them, it's the name of the company is Longacre, and they make a polyurethane donut that you put in your springs, and it just softens the ride. I mean, it just improves the ride from day and night. You can purchase them on Summit, and they're really easy to install. I mean, hell, it took me, you just jack up the car, loop them in the spring. You don't want to get the rubber ones. You really have to get the polyurethane.
Okay.
The Longacres are a little pricey.
So is that only in the rear, or is it for
only in the rear?
Only in the rear. Okay.
Yeah, because the rear still has the run flats, so it's still a hard ride. And then once you put the polyurethane donut in the springs, it softens it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this car actually rides pretty nice. The guys that I do know, they have Prowlers. They'll take a cruise in my car, and the first thing they do is order the donuts. We call them donuts. And like I said before, they're super simple to install. You can go on YouTube, and 5 minutes, they'll show you how to install it.
Okay.
And you know what? It makes a big difference. Because like I said before, when I first purchased it, I did make a Vegas run. And the first 2 hours were fun. The last 3, I was dying. It was bumpy and whatnot.
Okay, well, it was a good idea to change tires out anyway. I know there's a few owners that have not. They still have the original run flats, from Goodyear, and they don't change them out. They say, well, I don't have many miles on it, so I can keep driving it. But it's not safe either. I mean,
no, it's not. The rubber will deteriorate.
Right, the rubber will deteriorate, and sometimes it's some convincing of people, let them know that that's going to happen. And so I just think it's safer anyway. But no, that's interesting. You're the first person I've heard of that's been able to put matching tread and have the front not be run flat and have the back be run flat. That's the first I've heard of that. So that's cool to know. What
threw me off was when I was looking at these Pirelli P0s. Well, that's another story. because I got these tires off one of the guys at Cars and Coffee, and he had a Lambo, and he ended up getting bigger rims, bigger tires. I said, "What are you gonna do with your old tires?" And then he says, "Why, do you want them?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll take them." And they fit in there perfect. I looked in the forums.
Okay.
But now my problem was the front tires. And they didn't have anything that matched. And I'm like, oh, well, what's the difference? And then one guy says, no, it's the same tire. It's just one's a run flat and the other one isn't.
Okay.
And I said, well, that's even better because, it'll improve the ride. And then once I got the Longacre donuts, the polyurethanes for the springs in the back, that's it. I mean, now I could take this car anywhere. It rides really smooth.
Okay.
It corners well, especially when you're going up the coast and Malibu coast.
Okay.
Or you're up Mulholland Canyon.
Okay. Okay, that's nice. Okay. Hey, well, we got a few more minutes left. Do you want to show me your bike?
Sure. Oh, sure.
Okay.
Of course. And then I added, and then I made this thing. It's a replica of a 1912 Indian motorcycle. And I wanted to buy the original. I couldn't afford it, not to mention the fact if I break it, getting the parts, they're pretty much museum pieces.
Yeah.
And this one came out looking pretty close. I mean, unless you're an expert, you could tell that it's a reproduction. And like I said before, my vinyl guy, he did really good work as far as these decals were concerned. And you can see them all over the place, the stickers and whatnot.
Okay.
I even got this metal piece that says Indian on the frame.
So did you have to make your own? Did you have to design your own rack there for that to hang on the back of the Prowler?
Well, I was doing a lot of research, and what ended up happening here, it's made by One Up, and it hooks up directly.
Oh. Oh, okay. I got you. Okay, so it goes right into the trailer hitch. Okay.
Exactly. And One Up was pretty much the only bike rack I can use for this. And because a lot of people are doing electric bikes now.
Right. Okay. So this would work with a regular bicycle too, then, right? It doesn't have to.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah, you could, and you could even double it up. You could put 2 bikes on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's a good idea because
it's American made.
Yeah, that's a neat idea. That's neat to be able to take that with you, so you can show off both at the same show.
Sure.
That makes it nice.
Exactly.
And be able to put a bicycle on there would be handy for some people too, because
exactly.
They could use it as another piece of transportation wherever they go. So it's a good idea.
Another thing that I did with the car was when I first purchased it, it did have a lot of I color sanded, wet sanded it very lightly, and then I buffed it out. And the car came out with like a mirror finish once I was done with it.
Okay.
And we did the same thing with Tony's car. And I'm going to give him your link and your phone number. That way you can have a Zoom meeting with him and his nephew. His nephew has a yellow one like yours.
Okay.
Tony has a 1999. But here, you can look at the paint job. When you color sand it and then buff it out, it looks like it's wet, but it's dry.
So what condition was the paint in when you bought it?
It wasn't that bad. It did have like a, what do they call it, fisheye or whatever, the
swirls. You got some of the swirls and stuff depending on how it was waxed, yeah.
Exactly. But once I was done with it, it really came out. It looks like a brand new paint job. Everybody even thinks I repainted it. I tell them now.
Well, do you think this car, how many owners did it have before you? Do you know?
Just one owner.
Okay, just the one. And was it always in California?
Always in California.
Okay, so there's a lot of heat out there in the sun, so that can sometimes be hard on the car.
Well, actually, it doesn't get that hot here. I mean, because we live right off the coast.
Okay.
So I would say year-round, the temperature is normally 70. There's no humidity.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't rain that often. So, I mean, we literally have the best weather in the world year-round. We have so many car shows.
Yep, I know.
Get together. So
I mean, you're in the best place to have car shows and just to see cool cars in general. I mean, I'd love to take mine there, and it would. Although I thought my Prowler would seem like nothing compared to some of the other cars there, but yours stands out just as well, right? I mean, for a lot less money, you've got.
Well, that's the beauty of it,
Yeah.
I'll go to, like, let's say Supercar Sunday, and some of the guys will tell me, I spent over $150,000 on my car. And your car's getting more attention with that homemade bike. And I don't know, it's an Indian motorcycle. That's a bicycle. And it's incredible how much attention this vehicle gets. it gets Ferrari attention, yet it's not a Ferrari, you know?
I know that's what I love about it. I mean, how do the kids like it? Would you get kids that go
Oh, are you
crazy when they see
kidding?
this
The
stuff?
kids go crazy over it. Another thing too is like sometimes I'll go to Santa Barbara because that's where my daughter lives, and I'll drive it on the pier. And you have a lot of tourists, especially Asians. And I notice that the Asians go crazy. I mean, the ones straight from Japan or China, because obviously it's something that's completely different than anything that they have over there and drive.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of has that old nostalgic 34 Ford type of look. So they're very receptive to it. They want to take pictures with it. They start thinking about the movies that they watch, you know, with hot rods racing and whatnot.
Okay.
American Graffiti.
Yep.
And yeah, they're just drawn to it. And then of course the kids go crazy over it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I got a lot of stories with this car.
Okay. Well, yeah, go ahead. Do you have any other ones? Yeah, you told me one about this. Yeah. No, seriously, I love to hear the stories because that's what people want to hear about, stories with a car. So what other ones?
Yeah, well, we were it was actually at Malibu Cars and Coffee, and it's kind of sad, but there was this homeless family, and apparently their car broke down, and one of the kids came over, you know, because they had nothing to do, you know, father's trying to get the car up and running. And the good thing is that the car broke down in the right place. I mean, we're all kind of like shade tree mechanics, and the guys were helping him get the car started, and the kid comes over and he's looking at my car.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, wow, I like to have a car like that. And I said, well, come on in, check it out. So he's sitting in the car,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a Hot Wheel of my vehicle. And I said, look, I'm going to give you this. And then I said, it's like anything else. We have ups and downs. Right now, obviously, you guys are going through a down period in your life, but don't let that dictate your future. Have this little car.
Mm-hmm.
If you work hard, you stay in school, anything can happen. This is America. And I said, so whatever's happening in your life right now, don't let it dictate your future. Have this car, and one of these days you'll have your own. That really made his day. I mean, that kid was so happy, just jumping up and down in the car. And, you know, at first he was afraid to even, I mean, he got near it, but he was like afraid to even ask me questions. And I'm like, no, go ahead and get in.
No, that's great. I love it when people, you know, let the kids see the car, because this car is almost like a giant Hot Wheels car anyway. I mean,
It is, literally.
The kids see it, and that's what they
It's a
think
toy.
it is. They think it's a bit, yeah,
Exactly.
I know. They can't believe what it is. And honestly, it's the best thing I like. I mean, I like it when other people like the car, but when kids like the car, I think that's the best. It's so fun, especially in your example. That's really great, you know, that you made the kids day by doing that. So, okay.
It's like one guy told me, well, the car isn't very practical. And I said, look, you don't buy a Plymouth Prowler because you need it. You buy a Plymouth Prowler because you want it.
Exactly.
And I said, it's like anything else. I've had more, you know, forget about the, you know, how many miles you get to the gallon. It's about how many smiles you get to the gallon.
Exactly.
As far as these vehicles are concerned.
Yep. Exactly.
And I've had a lot more fun with this car than I did with my Jag. I'll tell you that. Yeah, the Jag was comfortable. This car is definitely quirky, but that's the fun of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Doing little things, modifications, going to car shows, the people that you meet.
Oh yeah. Yes.
It's just like with Tony. When I met Tony, I was at an ATM. I didn't know who this guy was. You know, he was I didn't know he had a Prowler. All I heard was a car lock up its brakes. And he gets out, I got a Prowler too. And I said, oh, cool. And then that was it. We became friends. You know what I mean? We started talking, ideas and whatnot.
Oh, that's cool.
And
okay.
We kind of went from there.
Yeah. So you were saying before you said before you're not yet on the POA yet, but are you going to join?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to join, and I did get my parts.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, excellent. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna install them tomorrow.
Okay.
And it was weird because I didn't have any problem with the sway bar. The rubber was on there great, and then one day I was detailing my engine compartment, and all of a sudden a big chunk just broke off.
Okay.
And I was talking to Tony about it, and Tony said, you know what, I'm having the same problem now. And then I said, well, maybe we could get something custom machined. Let me look online, and nothing was there in the Prowler store. And then when we seen your video, that was it. I got a hold of spoons, as you guys call them.
Okay, that's excellent.
Yeah.
So are you going to put those in yourself?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, that one's easy enough for you. Yeah, I still had to have somebody do it. I'm not very good mechanically, so I needed somebody to put them in. But that's cool. I'm glad he was able to get back to you and get those.
Oh yeah.
A lot of other owners have them, so and they're happy with them. So
oh sure,
that's good to hear. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, definitely. That's how I've learned most of what I've learned about the car is on there. Now, obviously, anybody can read the site if they want to. They don't have to actually join. But if you actually want to be able to correspond with people, that's the way to do it. And I've also had a chance to meet, at least on the phone anyway, Tony Goertz. He's the one who runs the site, and he's actually got some cool cars of his own that I'm hoping I get to do in a future video. He's over in Canada, and I want to go see him in person, but unfortunately, because of the lockdowns right now, I can't even go across the border to go see him in person. So I was hoping I'd be able to just travel over there because I'm not that far away from him. But I'm hoping maybe in a future one I can do that. But we're going to try to get on the phone together and maybe do a Zoom call and get to see some of his cars that he's done. A lot of neat stuff to his as well. So, but thank you very much. And I'm glad you're having fun with it. I'm glad you met new people, and definitely if you can, your buddies that have the car, we can get another call together and have them all on the call. Let's do that. I would love to have another one.
No, I'll set it up. And like I said, his nephew had the yellow one like yours. He's got a red one like mine. And like, like anything else, we exchange ideas, what to do, what can't we do.
Okay.
And, for the most part, the engine's really easy to work on. The only bad thing is if something breaks externally, because they don't make the parts anymore.
Yeah.
That's only
it is,
and they're probably an arm and a leg.
Right. There's only so many of the parts out there, and that's the good thing about the POA though, is that you can find people that some people have bought cars that were in wrecks and they've salvaged some of the parts, and so they're out there. You may have to get them repainted, but they are out there, and it's definitely worth looking into. And I would say don't people that are not wanting to get the car because they're afraid about parts and things like that. I can understand that. I know a guy that's going through that as well. He's worried about it, but that's the price you pay. I mean, if you want to have a really cool car and a unique car, there is going to be a little bit of risk to it. And so, but for me, it's been worth it, and it's been totally worth it to have it. So.
And realistically, as long as you don't wreck the vehicle, like I said before, mechanically the parts are cheap. Engine, drivetrain, you're not going to have an issue or problem getting parts for this car. But anything external, any type of body work, oh god, yeah. I would imagine that would cost an arm and a leg. It's like a buddy of mine. He had a big dent he had a Viper. He had a big dent on his hood, and he needed to get it replaced. Well, it's not even a dent; it's more of a crack because it's not even metal. And then he told me $10,000 just for a Viper hood, and I thought he was joking. And no, I'm dead serious. He showed me the receipt. Yeah, $10,000 for a hood. Wow. And I was floored. And then even Malibu Cars and Coffee, some of these guys, just regular maintenance work on a Ferrari. Jeez. But like I said before, that's a good thing about this car. Maintenance is cheap. You can do it yourself. Yeah. Well, like the Ferrari, they make you drop the engine like every 10,000 miles so they can do a service on it. So you're never going to have to do that with a Prowler. Exactly. It's true. You won't have to do that. So. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Juan. I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Bye.
Hey, so thanks again there, Juan, for helping me out with that video. It would be great to see you and some of your other friends there with their Prowlers, and we can do another Zoom call, hopefully again in the near future. I also was able to do a Zoom call with Tony Goertz, and we were able to do 2 calls, one on his yellow Hemi Prowler and also his 4-seat stretch Prowler. So looking forward to that one, and we'll have that out in the next 2 episodes. I also just finished up a call with Yuri Tereshyn from the Straight Pipes, and Tony Goertz also was able to join us on that call. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. That one will be following the videos I did with Tony. So definitely looking forward to that one. Hope you will too. So again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.